they were always finding their farm. Like at the very least, Burning and Super were always off somewhere just finding something for themselves, and maybe the support suffered a bit, but even Ice managed to get away with a lot that game. So this time around, not sure if Unknown want to do something similar. Yeah, I would love to see them pick TA again, because I honestly think that he played a great game in game number 1.
Last game, Fenrir was just sort of the sacrificial space creator in a lot of regards. He was 0
really
and 6
do much,
and just kind of ran around and helped to deal with pressure, and he was just a walking tombstone, basically. And then at the end, he had a mech, and that helped a little bit.
I mean, heck, in the beginning of the game, all he really did was give the TA kills, because they were playing like 2v1 mid, right? And then Kotaro just walks up and is like, whatever, I got max belt at level 7, you're just dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, Vici banned out the Queen of Pain, and Unknown think about it and opt to take out the Doom. It was their second ban in game number 1, a hero they really don't like to play against, and Vici will change it up. They'll go with the first pick Slardar, most likely for Ice in the offlane.
I like the Slardar opening. It leaves you open to a lot of different things that you can do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be offlane. It can be core, it can be offlane, it can be support. It's a very ambiguous hero. You don't have to set it in one particular place.
Is the support Slardar really something to be feared?
I don't know about support. It's less likely, I think, than a 1 roll or a 3 roll.
Yeah.
But it is always possible. It just depends. You know, sometimes you see a niche situation where you go, okay, we can actually move our Slardar to a different role. We don't have to put him in one particular place, but it just leaves you the freedom. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. What do Unknown want to go for here? Last game, they opened with the Gyrocopter Winter Wyvern, so very early out of the gate, you kind of knew what they wanted to do in terms of looking for mid-game team fight presence.
Yeah. I would like to see them... They're not going to pick Dazzle now, at least ban it in the second phase, because I think Dazzle Slardar is just a disgusting combination that you should pretty much never give away.
Yeah, we talked about it in our pregame a little bit, the natural synergy with all the physical damage and the minus armor, and... Yeah. Also, Slardar just has issues with initiating, taking a lot of damage, and can be susceptible to getting blown up. So just the nature of having a shallow grave to get him that get out of jail free card definitely come in handy.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And also, we were doing a little bit of research onto Unknown before we actually got into this game, and you brought up the fact that they'd actually picked Abaddon in the past. It's actually very good against Slardar.
Yeah.
Because Aphotic Shield is a fairly low cooldown. You can remove the amp just about as often as it's applied, but as we are going to see this very aggressive opening from Unknown, not really surprising given the way they played game number 1, and given the fact that they're Radiant. I also think that these kind of heroes are conducive to just being on that side of the map and being able to kind of crush your laning phase.
Absolutely. Definitely fits their playstyle. Like you mentioned before, this is a patch that fits the playstyle, these kind of South American teams that just really like to bring it to you and be super aggressive. And with that, Vici will grab Lich for their first support.
Interesting that they actually pick Lich instead of banning it. I know that if it's a dual offlane, it's obviously going to be strong. But the one thing about Lich is that he's very susceptible to kind of this early game 5-man aggression.
Right.
You're really just picking him to win a lane. Ice armor is always going to be useful, for sure. But it's more of that hero that you just don't want to play against as a Slardar, I think. Instead of, we just want to pick it ourselves. So I'm wondering if they have something else in mind for putting that Lich with another hero rather than just the Slardar.
I mean, Lich Doom is that duo that's all the rage on this patch. I'm trying to think of other really scary Lich duos that have become prominent.
I mean, anything with Lich is good. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, he makes any lane good just by sacrifice and just by having pretty much infinite mana to harass. And Ice Armor, even in the earliest stages of the game, it's very hard to try to fight aggressively into it, because it's not really just about the armor, it's about the slow that you get whenever you try to hit. It's just so frustrating to play into. So now getting into the ban phase here, round 2, Husker going to be taken out from Vici, which I find interesting because
it's kind of an odd ban, but it fits that aggressive style we've been talking about.
He's also a very good laner.
Yeah.
I just think that Husker is very weak to Slardar. The one thing that I have to go and kind of scratch my head about, because amplified damage just obliterates Husker.
Yeah, that's his big weakness. He's really good against magical damage, but heavy physical, he just can't.
Yeah, you actually just punch
stand
him
up against
and
it.
He dies.
Yeah, the one tool that really lets you man fight the Huskar. And now that Wisp gets banned, completely ignored in game 1, which I was really surprised, because both these teams do play Wisp at least occasionally. And this go around, Vici will take it out of the pool.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that Dazzle ban anymore after having seen a Lich. Like, sometimes when you're picking a Dazzle, you're going to go for like the full 5-man lineup. But if you don't have like a initiation type hero in one of the supports, then picking Dazzle is very unlikely. So you're not going to see like Lich Dazzle together very often, unless your cores are the ones who are going to be making the space and setting up for the kills, you know?
Right.
So I don't think that Vici will go for that, and it also means that Unknown don't have to burn a ban on it, which is why they take out the Gyro and Lina instead.
I mean, do you think Unknown could look for the Dazzle themselves?
It is possible, but it pretty much means that Tusk would have to automatically offlane in that situation.
Right.
Because I think Tusk support is weaker than Tusk offlane, and I think that Undying support is okay. Like, it's passable.
And we saw it work in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, Fenrir, the poor guy, he was the martyr for the team, but it ended up working out, so I'm sure he's fine with it. But for now, Unknown looking at...
They're chewing through this reserve time, man. They're really thinking about where they want this draft to go. Makes me wonder if they're just not sure what to do against this opener exactly with Vici, or if they're still trying to decide how they want to approach this game, if they want to go for early mid-game aggression again, or do something a little more focused towards the late game. But that answers that question.
Okay.
Third pick, Death Prophet.
You know, I love this hero against Slardar. Now, it's one of those situations where the heroes kind of counter each other. But if you think about it, Slardar's mode of initiation typically is either sprinting in or blinking in. If you have Exorcism on when the Slardar blinks in, more often than not, he is the only target that is in range of Exorcism at that given point because he's the initiator.
Right.
He's the first one in. So the first thing that comes to my mind is you get obliterated by spirits. They just do unreasonable amounts of damage, and they continually buffed level 1 Exorcism for like 3 or 4 patches in a row. So now at level 1, you get 8 spirits.
It's pretty good.
That's not even considering Witchcraft, which adds spirits to Exorcism every single rank.
Yep.
So, I mean, this hero is strong. And a lot of the South American teams have run it in the past, so...
She's very... she reminds me of Brewmaster in the sense that those early ults are so important. You can't afford to have missed ults in the sense that you pop it and then die right away, or you don't get any objectives. That is the crux of this hero. If you can make the team fights work and utilize the Exorcism to find kills or find objectives or make space, she's really powerful. But if you can't do that, then she seems to kind of fall off. That's
very true. I mean, it's a long cooldown. It's a 2-minute and 15-second cooldown, I think.
Yep,
or 2-minute and 25.
Yeah, it's long.
So, like you said,
scale.
You got to try to get something out of it whenever you pop it. But at level 7, I think you have now 12 spirits. Whereas, think about this for a second, right? Originally, it was 4.
10 seconds.
Okay, 4. That is awful.
Exactly like the Slardar boss we were talking about in game 1 of how he has gone from, okay, this spell kind of stinks, to maybe it's a little bit too strong now. And who knows? Maybe will Death Prophet come back in this major? Will she be the unsung hero?
I think she actually is so good in this patch because if you think about the other heroes that are picked so frequently, let's just take Unknown's draft as an example. Undying and Tusk. These 2 heroes can set up fights whenever. And they're even going to pick Venno on top of this. So this is a little bit of a deviation from the norm and how they're going to be running Venno, because it looks to me like it's going to be core.
It has to be, I think.
So core Venno, mid Death Prophet. I want to see how this plays out, because personally, I think that right now, Vici don't have the tools to fight into Exorcism. And honestly, Winter's Curse, I don't really see being that useful against these heroes because nobody does any right-click damage.
Yeah.
You're just looking at a bunch of heroes who are, okay, I'm going to drop Plague Wards. I'm going to pop Exorcism.
I'm going to drop a Poison Nova, Tombstone.
Tusk and Undying just don't punch you that hard, so... all things considered, it doesn't really seem that scary.
That is wild. And now Vici, they go for the Tiny. And of course, Wisp has been banned out, so it's not a Tiny Wisp combo. Is this just a burning Tiny for the safe lane? I feel like I've been watching... too much Sexy Bambo is coming to mind here, that off-lane Tiny. But, I mean, what seems more likely here? The off-lane Tiny or off-lane Slardar?
I think off-lane Slardar is probably still more likely.
That's where I'm leaning as well.
I mean, for CL, I've definitely been known to run the off-lane Tiny from time to time, but I think this is more of a core position for 2 reasons. One, he needs the levels to be able to blow heroes up. Like, that's what Vici are looking for right now. They wanted that hero that can go in, get the Death Prophet down straight away. No fuss, just go in, kill that hero, be done with it, right?
Just hit her with a combo and it's over.
Yeah, because right now, Unknown don't have a lot of save. So are they going to go back and pick up something like a Dazzle if they're going to be running that Venomancer as a core? Or they need to pick something that can protect the Death Prophet because they have very little in the way of disable.
Exactly.
So they need something that's either going to help their 5-man death ball, or they need something that's going to protect the Death Prophet.
I feel like this last pick from Unknown has to be something that pulls the team fight together. So I was just going to say they have very few disables right now. And aside from Venomous Gale, I mean, that's the big problem with Tiny is getting kited, getting locked down, and getting those auto attacks off. If he's not caught by the Venomous Gale, he'll have fun, except Viper has now come out. So there you go.
So
Team
it
Poison.
is support Veno, right?
Well, I guess it could still be support Tusk and support Undying.
This has got to be, first off, the greenest team I have ever seen.
Yes.
You do not see teams with this, like, many different kinds of greens that often.
It's not often you see Veno and Viper on the same side.
What is happening? It's mid-tiny.
Okay. You know, that thought crossed my mind, but I instantly just nixed it as just
They're gonna, this is what I assume is gonna happen, right? They're gonna send Ice to the off lane. They're gonna do Lich Tiny mid, and then they're gonna do Winter Wyvern Medusa safe lane.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, right? Like, Death Prophet is a pretty hard hero to beat in lane just because of spam. Like, Witchcraft and Crypt Swarm make you pretty formidable. You're not really going to get ganked by the lineup of Vici Gaming. So what I assume is going to happen is they're just going to stick Lich mid to keep the Death Prophet down, try to prevent Exorcism from being too much of an early game problem. Or wait a minute, is it position 1 Death Prophet?
I guess.
Because Kataro's playing Viper right now.
Yeah, so it'll be Viper mid. I think it is going to be safe lane DP.
They might be assuming that it's a dual lane mid, in which case they would want the Death Prophet to dodge, I guess.
Right, so
the Death Prophet needs
lane,
levels.
And then she'll have a solo matchup up against the Slardar.
I don't know, man. This is really weird.
So maybe Unknown will just go for the aggro tri-lane here with a Veno, Undying, Tusk. I mean, there's a lot of kill potential there if that's the route they want to go.
I just want to see what the hell the lanes are going to be.
Wow. Well, the Vici side will be somewhat more predictable here. Slardar will head to the off lane. FY will head up top, and it looks like, yep, Burning will take Medusa and head to the safe lane. So I think you were right with that dual lane mid, at least to get things started with Lich and Tiny.
Oh, no, they are going to put Death Prophet mid. They're just, maybe they just don't want to play Death Prophet on Kataru.
Yeah. Now, Unknown is one of these teams where their 1 and their 2 and their 4 and their 5 are pretty interchangeable. They don't have locked roles in terms of who does what. So it is a little bit difficult to predict based on which player has which hero. Safe lane Viper. Interesting. Well, he'll definitely get a lot of farm down here, that's for sure.
Yeah, if he's against a Slardar, it won't be too bad.
But I worry about this DP's ability to handle this dual lane mid.
I mean, I was worried about the first game, and I was proven pretty wrong in the sense
that's true.
Unknown had a very solid laning phase. If they can do the same thing with this lineup, this is a very different kind of beast to deal with. It's like running into you with Plague Wards and Gale, Poison Nova, Exorcism. They just deal so much damage by being alive. Like, that's... like, being alive just hurts Vici. Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm alive, you're taking damage.
Yeah. What an interesting draft here. This is...
And how are you going to kill Tombstone when you have to walk into a Poison Nova and Exorcism? Like, that just seems terrifying. Why are there 3 people mid? Vici are just like...
This game has already devolved into chaos. You know? Yeah. Okay.
All right,
so it's Undying Death Prophet mid for the Radiant. FY will start off with the Arctic Burn just to try and push him back a little bit. There will be some support. Super hasn't skilled anything quite yet, but Decay from Ztok will steal a little bit of strength and push him back. It's a dual lane in the mid on both sides of the coin. Yeah, we knew the dual lane was coming from Vici, but I suppose if you're going to have the situation, you kind of have to put the Undying there as well. The dual lane we were thinking, though.
Yeah, I thought
assuming it would be a Lich. And Ice. Look at all of this Toxin down bottom, so much slow. They won't quite find the kill. They bring him down low, but he will eat a tango and survive. Now, Veno Viper in the safe lane. This is disgusting.
It actually is disgusting, literally and metaphorically in this case.
Yeah.
It's this is
what I think of as the anti-Merlini lane. His 2 least favorite heroes in the same lane.
I mean, I can understand Viper, but why you got to hate on Veno?
I don't know.
I mean, he's a little bit boring to play.
He doesn't like the idea of a hero that presses R and then suicides. He says it's just stupid.
All right. Well, what about
his
a hero
words,
that
not
presses
mine.
R and deletes another hero from the game? Because that's pretty much what Doom does.
Yeah, and Necro. All right, here we go. Burning He'll get initiated on. Just caught by the Ice Shards. We'll go for that early point in Mana Shield and Mystic Snake. I'm always curious to see what build Medusas go for early on, because I feel like there's a lot of different ways you can approach this hero.
I think you just max Mystic Snake and Shield, honestly.
Okay, so you think Max Snake is the way to go here and not the stats build?
I mean, the stats build's okay. I just feel like you need the survivability of having the max shield. If he wants to go like full defensive, he could max shield and get stats. But having the Mystic Snake also means that you can steal mana in lane, which does add to your overall health anyway, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah, that's a good way to approach it. This is a scary duo lane, though, and they'll go right in onto Burning. He pops the healing salve, but out come the Ice Shards. Burning in a lot of trouble here, but can they actually secure the kill? The Arctic Burn from FY, slowing them into oblivion. Burning will turn, throw out that Mystic Snake to steal a little bit of mana. He will survive the onslaught, and it looks like FY will be able to make it back to safety near his tower. Z-Talk losing his decay stacks. Actually misses right there. And Greedy will walk through the tower, so close but no cigar, as looks like Viper did intentionally suicide there in the jungle.
No, he didn't suicide in the jungle. He died in lane of creeps.
Oh, he died into creep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, he just died.
My bad. Oh, Courier mid. Fenrir going to wrap around. He'll find the Courier with a bottle on it.
Oh.
Huge pick there for the Lich.
That hurts bad. That hurts real bad. The Death Prophet is, I think, the most important hero on this lineup for the early game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to get your exorcism going, you need to get good farm, you need to become tanky.
And part of that good farm is being able to crow/refill the bottle and spam out those Crypt Swarms.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is, well, he got super pretty low. He does have his bottle now.
I mean, he's having a pretty good time in the lane. We'll see if he can keep it up in the next 2 minutes before his Courier comes back. So... how did Viper die down here? I'm a little surprised.
I think he was trying to commit to Ice pretty hard, going for a kill, and then ended up tanking a couple of tower shots, and then just ran away and died to creeps.
Yeah. Ice. Getting some okay experience. He is halfway through level 4, but farming is definitely a difficulty. Getting aggressive against the Viper, though. Kind of pump fakes the Slitherine Crush there.
Well, the one thing to note is that Viper does kind of need levels in the early game, because you need Corrosive, Nether Toxin, and Poison Attack all together to really get your laning phase going. And Vici with some more early rotations here is Fenrir and Ice, making their way through the woods, looking for that Death Prophet. Oh, if he gets caught, he will get dove and die.
Yeah, she doesn't see it coming. There's the sprint from Ice around the backside. Slithering Crush as well as Frost Nova. That's an easy kill. First blood goes the way of the Slardar. Very nice for Vici here. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, FY in a little bit of trouble. Will turn with Arctic Burn. Almost finishes off the Tusk, but he goes into the Snowball. Wand charge is not quite enough. Burning will come in for that one arrow to get the kill. A 1-for-1. Not too bad for Vici, actually. Medusa getting a freebie.
I mean, this is the start that Vici need.
Yep.
If you lose your laning phase to what Unknown have, I think it's extremely difficult to win the game from that point, because they have insanely good death ball potential.
I think they may try something for Z-Talk here. Nope, he'll just retreat back to safety. Ice. Does he want to go in? Yeah, there we go. Connects with a Slithering Crush. Snowball forward on 2. Burning getting low, and it's Ice that actually dies first. They'll trade 1-for-1, though. Dusa getting another kill. And even though they lose the starter, I feel like that's still not that bad of a trade. Burning the big breadwinner out of this whole exchange in the top lane.
I'm totally okay with giving my Medusa early game kills. I mean, he's almost level 6. It's 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
he's got treads. He's got Bassi done.
He's feeling pretty good.
I want to know what item build he goes. I don't think I've ever seen a Burning Medusa game, actually. Like, live, at least.
Yeah. I wonder... Not really a Lincoln's game.
It's never a Lincoln's game.
Down bottom, Viper, yep, he'll get picked off. Power of the Slardar Lich, man. Even a tanky hero like Viper, there's just so much slow, and if once he connects with the stun, it's really difficult. Now Excel, he's going to find himself in a world of hurt. Ice goes slithering on in. Slithering Crush. Fenrir will take some decent damage here, but they should be able to get this kill on the Veno. Ice just needs one more poke with that Trident, and he'll chase him down. 6-2 as Vici take control of the early game.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit out of hand here. They're really going to need their Death Prophet to get some objectives with the first couple of exorcisms, or at the very least try to win a team fight or two.
Yeah.
I think with the level 1 exorcism being much stronger now, there is potential you can just use it to fight if you want to try to stop Vici from just running at you. Because it seems like Ice and his rotations, they've all been successful so far. Even if he's trading his own life, he's still finding something.
Yeah.
And that's really all Vici want to do at this point. Just make the early game chaotic for Unknown. Because we talked about their lack of disables. That's pretty much what Vici are exploiting. It's like, okay, you can't stun us when we have a Slardar and a Tiny who can just kill you and stun.
I mean, I look at games like this as just perfect evidence of why Ice is hyped up so much as a player. This is such a difficult safe lane to go up against, and instead of just sitting in the lane or getting picked off, he's made things happen elsewhere. The Slardar level 3, level 4 rotates mid. He just rotated to the top lane, and now all of a sudden, we're 7 minutes in. He's level 6, he's 2-1-2, and he has made so much out of this very difficult lane.
It's just realizing the shortcomings in the game and realizing what you can do to circumvent that problem.
Yeah.
It's like, what's my problem? Okay, well, my lane sucks. I got 3 points into sprint at level 6. I got Slithering Crush. My movement speed is extremely high. I'm just going to run at people.
Let's find some kills, man.
Like, even if he doesn't end up getting a kill from his rotation, he still either secures farm for the lane that he's going to and create some space.
There's a big rotation mid here, Draskell. 4 heroes going in onto Super. It'll be greedy to start it off. They will follow up with some damage, but a huge stun, huge toss. Now Ice is on his way in. 3 very low heroes. Z-Talk will try to commit on Super behind the hero, but Death Prophet's already gone down. Excel looks like he'll fall as well as FY connects with a couple Arctic Burn charges here. Greedy will make it away with a nice set of ice shards, and while all that was going on, Z-Talk did manage to find the kill on the Tiny, but Vici make the most out of this here, and it's not even over yet. Ice, he's still diving past the tier 2. He's slithering. Greedy will hit him with a walrus punch. He misses the crush. Oh no. Ice will fall after that greedy dive. Very well played by Greedy, though.
That was greedy of Ice, to be honest. Just diving at tier 2. But you can tell he's feeling pretty confident right now in the way that the early game is kind of rolling out here for Vici.
Yeah.
And I mean, he should be, because Burning is just free farming up a storm.
Yeah, that was all space created. Ooh, hops to the other side of the ice shards. Could have potentially been a kill here for Greedy if he was on the other side of it, but now Burning will just pop his mana shield and slither back to safety. A lot of slithering heroes this game, Draskell.
A lot of tails, a lot of wings.
A lot of wiggling.
Not a lot of feet, actually. Alright, so who has feet? Tusk, Undying. Tiny, I guess, technically has feet.
Yeah, sure. Oh, down bottom, Kataro, he's going to get initiated on and pops a Viper Strike, but it's not going to do a hell of a lot. That'll be another easy kill, and this is like we talked about, where Slardar is just so damn strong. That minus 10 armor is just ridiculous. You know, you don't think of Lich as a scary right clicker, but if you're negative armor, yeah, those right clicks from Lich add up.
Yeah, everything hurts when you have minus 5 armor at 9 minutes into the game. That is very, very true. And this is a really good example of, like, the Viper pick for me, I wasn't really getting. Like, I guess they wanted a lane dominator to put up against the Lich because they knew that the Lich was going to be in one of the 2 lanes, either mid or bottom, right? As top Burning is going to get punched here again.
Yeah, but he will stay alive. Compliments of the Cold Embrace from FY. Now they'll try to turn on to Z-Talk. Winter's Curse comes out. He will move into Flesh Golem form, but they might have the damage here. Soul Rip just barely keeps him alive. And Greedy does press forward. They won't be able to find the kill. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Viper gets picked off again by the Slardar Lich duo. The slow comboing with the sprint Slithering Crush is just too much for this Viper to deal with.
Yeah, they're just like bullying every single lane at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it during the draft. The shortcoming of Unknown is their inability to really take early game fights. They rely heavily on kiting. Their only disabler is the Tusk. And this Death Prophet still doesn't have any points in Exorcism. Yep. So I'm kind of wondering, what is the go for them? Like, when do they feel confident in being able to do something?
Well, could be in some trouble here. We'll see a rotation coming in from the Lich, but there's a lane ward down, so we'll be able to scout it out, and does move to safety. But if that ward wasn't there, I think that's a guaranteed kill with Super and Fenrir. This is a rough early game for Unknown, and like you said, I wonder when Death Prophet really will start to come online here and try to make stuff happen. She will go for the Yule Scepter first item, and does not skill the ultimate at level 9, grabs that last point in Witchcraft, so we'll have to wait until level 10 before we see Exorcism.
Well, this is the old build, right?
Yep.
Like, back when Exorcism level 1 was really bad, this is what you used to see. Even if you get it at level 9, you're still going to get, what, 13 spirits?
Yeah.
With 4 points, or 3 points into Witchcraft, so I think that's plenty. it could have already applied a decent amount of pressure with that ult, and if you get it earlier, you could have even used it like maybe 2 or 3 times by this point.
I mean, right now it feels like Unknown just don't know what their game plan is at the moment. Burning is still free farming. He gets a tier 1 tower up top completely unchecked. Viper's going for a hand of Midas, but has just nothing to show for it. Still doesn't even have the Midas complete, and he's going to get picked off again. Ice 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 just charges in. The Frost, or the ultimate from Lich was already utilized, and if Ice 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 lives here, oh my, now the Tombstone comes in from Z-Talk. They will be able to finish him off. It's Undyne that'll get credit for the kill, so at least they make it a 1-for-1, but I mean, Viper can't even finish his Midas here, Draskell. That's how bad this is.
Yeah, they really need this Death Prophet to hit level 10. Like, you need your ulti so bad. That's going to be really the test. If the Death Prophet ultimates fall short in the first couple of uses, I think this game is just going to become extremely difficult for them.
I mean, it's already starting to ball out of control. About 4K net worth and experience is the lead for Vici, with Dusa topping the charts. And Burning going for a nice early combative build. He can join these fights if he wants to. Power Treads, Drum, Aquila. He's ready to rock and roll.
I think everyone on Vici can fight. Like, there's even Blink on the Tiny. So he just needs to send it out. Super just waiting for the courier to get back to base. Once that happens, pretty much everyone on the side of Unknown dies to that combo.
Yep. Yeah, the Blink Dagger, I think, is the right build for Tiny here. Just a lot of catch, and I mean, even this Viper, he's a free kill pretty much every time. Ice 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 will just walk in. Sure, he takes a Viper strike, but sets it up for an easy kill there, and Super will be able to punch him to secure the death.
Oh, Undying, you can't walk over there.
Oh no, Z-Talk, that was ambitious. Walks right into the danger zone. Easy 2-for-0, and Vici aren't done yet. Ice Ice Ice, he's got the sprint on. He finds Excel, gets hit by a Gale, but it doesn't matter. They've just got way too much burst damage. These pickoffs are just all too easy for Vici.
She's showing once again why they are widely considered to be one of the top 3 teams in the world right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Just a very good understanding of heroes that aren't even seen that much. Like, how often do we see Death Prophet and Venomancer Viper together, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lineup that's fairly uncommon, and they're just showcasing that they understand how to deal with it thoroughly, even at this very early stage. And
yeah, I just really like this build that Burning went for. I feel like Medusa is often characterized as a hero that can't get involved early on, and I mean, Stone Gaze is a really powerful spell, even in the early levels. And I like that they're starting to get Burning involved, especially now that he was able to get that tier 1 tower in his safe lane.
Well, Mystic Snake does a tremendous amount of damage, as long as you can land it on multiple targets. That's the hard part, is like, early in the game, it's not often that you see like 3, 4, 5 heroes in close enough proximity to really land a good Mystic Snake, but in this game it's possible, just because of the kind of lineup that Unknown have put together.
Well, Yules is up on the Death Prophet. She's also level 10, about halfway to level 11. So we could still see our first Exorcism. Maybe that will be the turning of the tides. What are you thinking about this Midas on Viper? Do you think that was the play here?
I actually thought he was going to go for mech. Because, like, mech with Death Prophet ulti, that just seems like, you know, that seems like the logical choice. Because you're building a Veno with wards. You have Exorcism. You got Tombstone. Why not just have a mech on top of it to make your 5 versus 5 even more terrifying? But I can see how Yules is good for spam, it's good for farm. They are smoked up here. Level 2 Exorcism is available.
Unknown starting things off. He doesn't have an invisibility rune on. They have a sentry down. Oh no, this could be bad for... Oh no, the Death Prophet will be able to hop into the Yules. That'll buy him a little bit of time. But now the Stone Gaze comes out. The Chain Frost from Lich will start bouncing. DP, the first hero to go down in this fight. She didn't even get to use the ultimate. Chain Frost still bouncing around like crazy, doing some damage to heroes. They'll throw Ice 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 in the Undyne. That'll secure the kill there. It's a fast 2-for-0 for Vici. The rest of Unknown in quick retreat. But Excel, he's going to get left behind. And with that minus armor, Tiny just punches so hard, tosses him up. The Mystic Snake will bring him down. Ice Ice Ice, one hit from death. The tower shot might be enough to kill him, but no. He'll get an earn charge. He'll stay alive. Now the Cold Embrace buys him some time, and Tusk will get finished off. It's a 4-for-0, 18-5. Vici Gaming continuing to dominate Unknown.
That was so unfortunate. Like, they walked down past a sentry and an obs, so they knew the Death Prophet was in this, and then they just dropped another sentry in lane and killed her before she could even use Exorcism. It's been almost 16 minutes, and we have not seen the ability used, and Ice 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 is also going to find the Viper again.
Absolutely. Viper now 0-7-1. This, I mean, you pick a hero like Viper to dominate the lane and have an early game presence. When he falls behind like this so early on, It's tough stuff. He's just he's a paperweight at this point. Oh, Force Staff onto Z-Talk. They put him behind the tower. We will see Death Prophet utilize the ulti for the first time this game. Forces a glyph from Vici, and they will be able to grab this tower. Well, that's something.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to just, like, 5-man around that ulti. That's pretty much their only game plan.
Every 2 minutes, yeah.
Exorcism is extremely potent. Even when the enemy team is ahead, you can never underestimate the amount of damage that it will do. But I think the problem that they're going to run into now is that Vici have had such a good start on their Tiny, especially. Like, having the Blink Drums already available.
Viper again in the bottom lane, caught by Ice.
This is what I mean. Like, they just have too many ways of jumping you now.
Yeah.
And because the Death Prophet has opted to go in for the Yules and not something that gives you a little more tankiness during the early game, like, maybe he picks up a casual point booster now, which will help. But I think he still just gets blown up whenever Vici see him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How do you even start to recover here? The Midas, I feel like, is actively working against him. That's where all of his gold is gone, and it just does nothing to keep him survivable. And he's barely even able to use it. I mean, he can keep it on cooldown, but he still can't really farm at any reasonable rate. And don't forget, all the while, Burning is just racking up the farm. He now has a completed Yasha and almost 2k gold to deal with. So he's...
Oh, God.
He's in good shape.
Tusk is dead, too.
Yep, caught out again.
Yep.
So much catch here for the Dire side.
I kind of got a feel for Unknown, because the first game was a lot closer than this one has been so far.
This just fell apart too early on.
Ice getting his urn taken.
Yep, that's unfortunate here. He will just barely survive with the Force Staff. Did they kill the urn or did they take it? Looks like they killed it.
It's just a little bit of hubris coming out from Daryl.
Yep.
He does that
Having
from
a little
time
fun
to time.
with it.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Well, that's okay. FY split pushing in the bottom lane. That Winter Wyvern, watch out. He's almost at a Blink Dagger as well. Additional catch here for Vici Gaming.
I honestly don't know what they're supposed to do outside of 5-man at this point.
Oh, Z-Talk. He gets caught by a crush, sets it up for super. Toss combo, finds the kill. Another easy pick off here for Vici. They will disengage. And just look at this ward control here. The entire Radiant jungle is just completely warded. I mean, Vici know exactly where they're going to go. They've got complete map control. Taro, he TP's in. They know exactly where he is.
Jesus.
Ice hits him with an amp damage. They toss him back into the Dire team. Poor Viper.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel bad for him.
Starting to?
Oh, Death Prophet. She gets caught. Winter's Curse comes out. Gets dropped seconds after the Exorcism is utilized, and it'll be on cooldown now.
He got craggy when he tried to Walrus punch him.
Oh my. It just gets worse here for Unknown. Now the Tusk falls. Undying gets off the Tombstone. It gets taken out. Chain Frost will fall, and that's it. 19 minutes in, they call the GG, and honestly, not a moment too soon. It'll be a 5-man wipe as the Venom gets taken out. 5-0 to round things out. Game 2, Vici, man. Just they came out of the gate guns blazing.
Yeah, that was pretty one-sided. This is more along the lines of what I was expecting when I saw the first game. But I mean, Unknown showed that they have some potential. It's just a matter of this lineup. I think was too far off center.
Yeah,
like we talked about before the series even started, maybe bringing something to the table that was a little bit new. But usually that means like maybe 1 or 2 new heroes. It doesn't mean pick